All right, welcome to our week 6 session for English 12A. Can you believe it's week 6 already? It's shocking to me how quickly that went. But in our last week, you might have noticed there isn't a conventional writing project that you're used to seeing with the steps in each lesson, etc. In this unit, you are going to be writing an end of course writing exam. So today we're going to kind of talk a little bit about revision. And the reason we're going to do this is because even when you're in a situation where you're writing an essay in the moment, you should still take some time to go back and revise. Revision may look a little bit differently when you're doing it in the moment versus giving yourself some space and some time away from your essay before going back to it during a conventional writing project. But you should still revise. I hear students all the time tell me, oh, no, it's okay. I do my best work in the moment. No, it's okay. This is the way I write. I just sit down and put it on paper. And that's all well and good. It does save us time, sure, but it doesn't make us better writers. So when we revisit our writing in any situation, we're going to turn in a better paper or a better paragraph or a better project because we're taking the time to revisit what we wrote. So my goal today is to make you love revision, although I might be a little lofty of a goal, but also so that you'll be able to evaluate your draft for ideas, content, organization, voice, word choice. Oh, I hate that thing keeps popping up. And sentence fluency. The goal is to be able to read through an essay and identify what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are so you can fix the areas that aren't as strong. I like my little cartoon there. Look at all the revision process he's going through there. I think it's a pretty funny one. All right, so let's take a look at identifying what revision is first. Revision includes evaluating and refining the rough draft for clarity and effectiveness. So you need to ask yourself, does this draft say what you want it to say? Is it conveying the right ideas to your audience? I also like that word evaluate and refine. So when we're looking at our writing, we want to be, critical of ourselves in a sense. We want to evaluate whether or not we're doing what we've set out to do, and then refining it. We want to look through what we've said and how we've said it. Is it clear? Do we effectively convey the ideas, especially if we're using research? Writing's a journey, it's a process, so it's never really truly complete. When we revise, we rethink our points and determine, is it worth saying? Am I saying it well enough? Will the reader understand what I'm saying? And how can I make it better? We can always make something better. There's always a time to turn it in and be happy with it, but we can always work towards making our writing better. All right, so then I get asked all the time, well, what's the difference between revision and editing? Well, this is a really good question. I like to think about revision as seeing again the ideas that we are presenting. So if we're rewording things, fixing fluency issues, spelling, capitalization, conventions, errors, that type of thing, that's editing. That's a super important part of the process because we don't want to turn in a paper that's got a bunch of lowercase i's instead of capitalized i's, or an essay that has all the first letters of each sentence in lowercase letters. We want to fix those issues. That's editing. Those conventions, that's editing. Revising is reworking the ideas themselves. Are they in the correct order? Did we include enough or sufficient evidence to prove our point? Do we need to say something a different way to make it more clear, etc.? So this is a handy dandy Venn diagram. Who does not love a good Venn diagram? Maybe that's an English teacher thing. Venn diagrams, I think, are the jam. Revising is making it sound better. Editing is making it look better. So in revising, we're adding, changing, or deleting parts of the piece to help the writing flow. We're turning out worn words into vivid words. Like, think about your word choices. What can we replace? If we use the word incredible 5 times in a paragraph, how can we turn those words into more meaningful words? How can we change them out? Coming up with an interesting lead that hooks the reader and a conclusion that sums things up. Your conclusion should also leave your reader with a new idea, a fresh look at what you've said. A really good thing to include there would be a connection to the to another text, the connection to the world, the connection to self that we've talked about at various times throughout the course. Specific descriptions, explanations, and details. You might go through and see that you have included one reference to the text, but no specific textual support. So you can go back and identify a quote that you can put in there to help with that explanation. Organizing ideas in an order that makes sense. Is it logically organized? Does it go through your argument in a way that makes logical sense? Obviously, in the middle there, we have helping the reader read along smoothly, improving the quality of the writing. That's across the board between revising and editing. But if you look at the editing side, we're correcting misspelled words, we're changing punctuation, we're making sure our paragraphs are indented, we're looking at our punctuation, we're looking at our capitalization. We want to make sure that everything looks right. Okay. Revision steps. Think about the larger issues of the paper. These are the things you're gonna mark off as you go. I want you to think about the larger issues of the paper. Do you prove or answer your thesis? Do you address all the components of your thesis? Or has your thesis changed as you've written the essay? One of the things when you're writing on demand, if you outline real quick and then write your essay, you might get to the end and be like, oh, my thesis statement evolved a little bit. I can make it more specific, or I need to make it more broad. I need to include this other element to my thesis statement. So you want to make sure that your thesis statement is still the right one. Check your focus. Are you clear and focused through the paper? Meaning, do you stay on topic? If you're writing about China, you're not writing about beaches in Costa Rica, right? You want to make sure that you don't go off topic or off track. That can be really easy to do when you're in the moment because you're just kind of writing what's in your brain. So you want to make sure that your topic stays consistent throughout the essay. Is your introduction a true representation of what your readers can expect from the paper? Do you include a hook, some background information? And again, that goes back to that thesis statement. Is your paper balanced? Do you address each aspect of your argument? Remember, if it's an argumentative essay, you want to make sure you include your counterclaim in the essay. So if you might read through and be like, oh, I didn't include my counterclaim, I need to add that. That's revision because you're revisiting the ideas you've presented in the essay. Does the organizational pattern of the paper make sense? Or is your conclusion stimulating and thought-provoking? And again, I'll mention that would be a good place to draw a connection between another text, society in general, the news, or anything that you personally experienced to include as an anecdotal portion of the essay. So here we go. We're going to take a look at 2 paragraphs. We are looking at paragraph number 1, and then we're going to look at paragraph number 2, which is the revision of paragraph number 1. So in paragraph number 1 says, legends are everywhere. We see them in the news, in the movies, and books, and in our own lives. Who is a legend to you? What makes a legend? A legend is a person who overcomes obstacles to be a better person while helping others to be better too. My Aunt Edna is a legend to me because she has overcome cancer. She is also funny and helps a lot of people. All right, so I want you to ask yourselves, what else can we add to this paragraph that would constitute revision? So we're not going to look at editing or any of that today right now, but we're going to look at details and expounding on some of the information in there that we can look at. So if we look at, I'm going to get my highlighter ready. Oh, probably red isn't a good option. Let's go with yellow. All right, so a legend is a person who overcomes obstacles to be a better person while helping others be better too. Okay, my Aunt Edna is a legend to me because she's overcome cancer. Well, let's think about, that's super admirable and awesome that she's overcome that obstacle. So we have here, she overcame this obstacle. Let's make that yellow. So we've identified that the cancer is the obstacle that she's overcome, right? It also says that it's a person that helps others be better too. So do you see here in the text where she helps people be better too? We see here that she's funny and helps a lot of people. But there's not a lot of specific textual references that help us see how she helps people be better. It's just a very generic statement, right? So if we look down at paragraph number 2, we'll identify some ways that we could have expanded on that information. Paragraph number 2. What makes a person legendary? A legend is a person who overcomes obstacles in his or her life to be a better person while helping others also strive to be better. Okay, so We have a very similar setup. We have the rhetorical question at the top as our hook, and we have the definition that's been expounded upon. Legends are prevalent in our society. They are featured in the news, in the movies, in the books we read, and in our own lives. My Aunt Edna is a legend to me because she fought cancer and won all while also volunteering at the Humane Society, the local soup kitchen, and the library. All right, so here we see what she's doing to help people be better. We see the way she overcomes her own obstacle, right? She fought cancer. But so that added detail as a revision has helped make the paragraph more readable. It's helped to give us more information about the topic, who is the legend in our life, Aunt Edna. And then we're going to learn about those 3 ideas. So as a reader, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read about Aunt Edna, and I'm going to read about how she fought cancer and won, and how she volunteered at the Humane Society, the local soup kitchen, and the library. And then I'm going to learn how that helped other people be better too. So the evolution of just those last 2 sentences makes the paragraph so much stronger. And we haven't even talked about the stuff in the beginnings of those in the beginning of the paragraph that made it more fluent, more interesting to read because the word choice is more elevated, and allows to identify more detail in that paragraph as well. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to complete the quiz for me. You're going to be given a paragraph to revise, or an assignment that has to do with revision and applying some of the techniques we've talked about today. If you have any questions, need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you. Have a pleasant day.